sorry, it was just part of the bit, you know, like, that was the whole point of the game. It was Jigsaw, it wasn't me. That was the game with the rules, and we have to do the review now, and I did. I have to do it myself, and that was part of the game. I know I think I got it wrong, but that's okay.
Hey, man.
Oh, hey. Ah!
How did you survive? Okay, that was a human. That was a human. You don't have to be so rough with his body.
No, it's alright. It was the skeleton guy already.
I know, but
yeah.
you know, it was a guy before that.
Yeah. So what did you say? I didn't hear you.
It was a guy before that.
Yeah,
you don't have to be so rough.
No, before that.
How did you survive?
Bro, I thrived, my guy.
You thrived?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that Jigsaw like locked me up.
Oh, so you're one of his like...
Oh, no, man, let me tell you. Like the time, like the month or two spent here, I just was like working on the crypto grind. Like I just got really into crypto and I really started to like go, my life is worth something. It's worth something more, you know? And that's what Jigsaw does, bro. Like immediately as you left, the freaking like the handcuffs, like they unlocked and then he was like, oh bro, you can leave. And I was like, no. I'm gonna get on that crypto grind. So that's what I was doing. And now I have like $300 extra because
it's
of
been
crypto.
like 2 months. Only $300 extra.
You try to make that. Crypto is hard. Anyway.
I don't like you anymore, I don't think.
It's like I took off the glasses. I'm all good now.
Okay.
Hey.
Like Dogecoin?
No, it was...
Crypto.
It was called Pizza Boy coin.
Pizza Boy coin.
Yeah, my friend Jigsaw was like, "Yo, check out the Pizza Boy coin."
Pizza Boy
and I
coin.
put in all my savings, like all my thousands of dollars, and $300. You can't beat that.
So you put in thousands of dollars and you got $300 out of $1,000.
No, but it's about having the shares, my guy.
Do you still have shares?
Yeah.
In what?
In Pizza Boy coin.
In Pizza Boy coin. Okay. In just Pizza Boy coin?
Yeah, it's the coin.
And that's not going to crash.
It's the coins that... No, I don't think so. Jigsaw seemed pretty, like, thrilled. Like, hey, man, trust me, bro.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Bro, trust me.
And I just spent, like, being his apprentice, getting him more Pizza Boy coin. Anyway, we're here to review Fnaf.
Yeah, Fnaf, baby.
Hey, hi.
Hello.
Welcome
back to the Herald.
Yeah, sorry.
We
hi.
are not a crypto podcast.
I'm gonna
Don't
move this
worry.
drink. I'm not going to drink this.
Sponsor us.
Hi there.
Leo will drink it if you sponsor us.
Hello. Yeah. What did you... Yes.
Leo will drink that.
I would drink...
Scapegoat.
I would
beer.
just drink a drink. If anyway, hello.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome back to the show. Apologies if you didn't understand what that opening
The whole bit was. What's our other
we did
Saw X
we did
review?
Saw X and I was locked up in here and I got into crypto.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic.
So if you want to see how that started,
yeah,
what's
check
that?
that out. But we're here to review I was going to say Fortnite.
Fortnite at Freddy's.
Fnaf. We're here to review the new Fnaf movie. We're probably a bit late to the party.
8 years in the making. Well, this movie's late in its making. 8 years it took.
8 years, yeah.
And what are we, only like a few weeks after? That's fine.
It's okay. And believe us when we tell you these are the people you're going to want to listen to.
Yeah.
Because Louis, he'd be a fan of Fnaf.
I know, I haven't read the books, but I've watched all the, theories. I've been in this fandom for a long time. So this movie means a lot to me, but Leo is in the camp of...
I'm not not a fan. Like, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I just never. I just don't know anything.
Yeah.
I played the first game when it came out.
Yeah.
I played the third game a lot when that came out for some reason, even though apparently it's the worst one. And not when I mean a lot, not too much. I was when I was a kid, and I haven't watched any of the theories. All I basically know is Bite of 87, Purple Guy.
Do you know about the Bite of 83?
No, I don't know any of that shit. Sorry. No, I would listen. I want to. I think it's a cool concept. I went into the movie not knowing much.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna get two different perspectives here.
Yeah.
One from a fan, one from someone who's just a regular viewer who just wants to see a horror movie.
Yeah.
So that's gonna change how we view the movie. So hopefully you get kind of like a good, decent, kind of equal perspective there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what we're doing. We were reviewing Fnaf 2023.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. But before you do that, this is something that we always do. We always ask you to do this. Don't skip this. Do not skip this. We have a sponsor. I know. No. Okay. The sponsor, it's a fun sponsor. It's a fun little website where you benefit. You benefit.
Yeah, we benefit nothing.
And they
from
don't
this.
benefit. Except for them benefiting from you having fun.
Yeah.
That's the benefit.
That's the benefit.
So if you scan this QR code, I hope this is the QR code. I have a bunch of QR codes on my desktop because I've done this
So many times.
that I think I'm hopefully dragged in the right one.
Also, if you're listening on the podcast, it's in the description as well.
It's in this. Yeah, thank you for listening on the podcast. Basically, okay. So the website for this week is creepychatterbox.weebly.com.
Wow.
creepychatterbox.weebly.com.
Wow.
It's going to be fun.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, creepy, cutie, creepy, crowd, chatterbox.
What the fuck?
Your mother.
Okay.
And basically, check it out. If you know how chatterboxes work, I think it's just gonna be that, but fun and really cool and very well designed by a cool person. Anyway, that is that. Time to get to our news segment. I just went right into the mic. The news segment, guys. This week's horror news.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is going to be, we always say this.
Shut the fuck up. Did you know Dead Meat does the horror news now? Fucking stole our thing.
They watched
Fucking stole our thing.
They watched to inform me. Okay, so this week's horror news, it's going to be a bit old by the time you watch this. But this is it. Okay, well, the first thing is Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 in the works with new Winnie Pooh design.
Isn't it Winnie the Pooh?
I know, yeah, that's why I said Winnie the Pooh. I know it says Winnie Pooh. But Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, if you guys remember that was a slasher that took the Winnie the Pooh narrative and made it scary-ish.
Yeah.
Apparently it wasn't that great, but look at that. That's the new design.
The budget for this one apparently is, for the original was like 100,000, and this one's apparently going to be $1 million.
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big old boy.
What happened to on my phone? I had all the... Okay, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 preview. The sequel's bigger budget. And I'm reading this off Bloody Disgusting. I'm very lazy.
Yep.
But basically, so it's got there's the new sequel to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. We never watched it.
Nope.
If you watched it, cool.
Good for you.
It promises to be bigger and bloodier and bigger budget, and it's got the effects from the people who did like the Voldemort effects in Harry Potter, and basically what else?
They aren't doing any other, because this is an independent film. So what other film can they be working on?
Did
right now?
Star Wars effects apparently, but it's done to make it look more scary. But basically, it's a little sneak peek of what it will look like. The first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was made. What the cost of bringing Pooh to life was $770. Now it's $20,000 spent on the counter design. Wow. So this is really, I don't know how this got more money, this movie. But basically it's releasing in February 2024, if you guys are interested.
No.
It's going to be bigger, better. It will feature new creature designs, new cast, a higher death count. That's always what you want.
30 plus kills.
There you go. However, this time Pooh and friends will be leaving the 100-acre wood to take their fight to a quiet community of Ashtown. Ooh.
Oh. I don't care.
There's a cast member from The Pope's Exorcist in it. So he's playing little young Pooh.
I've seen it.
But basically, I'm not going to read too much of it, but it was on the news.
Right.
And I want to get this one out of the way because it's the least interesting. So I'll get to the more interesting ones now. Here we go. Last of Us Season 2 is looking to go into production early 2024.
Wow.
So, obviously the stuff with the, actors strike and whatever have you, that's, making it go a little bit longer than it was meant to. But they're targeting a premiere of 2025. Yeah. The writer's strike is affecting it. They're going to be adapting. They've confirmed it is going to be part 2 they're adapting, which I really don't fucking like at all. Like, I love part 2. Last of Us Part 2 is probably my favorite video game of all time. Right. If I said this like a lot, I don't know if it's true, but I said it's my favorite piece of media I've ever consumed. I don't know if it is, but it's damn good, and I love that game so much. And I'm not doing that trying to be controversial, or whatever. I just genuinely love it. But I really don't like the idea of them doing part 2 right away,
now, yeah.
because you're going straight to season 2 and killing off your main character. Like, what are you doing? There was so many years. Oh, by the way, spoilers.
I think they're gonna do.
Last of Us.
I think they're gonna do.
I hope.
In between.
I hope.
Yeah.
Because they can do those little segments from part 2 and expand that, but there was so many years between part 1 and part 2 that they could totally do narrative, do a narrative for. So yeah, and also it's a long game that's got to be split into at least a couple of seasons. It has to.
Yeah.
Seasons.
I don't think they can rush.
But yes, hopefully
Maybe
that's what they do.
Maybe they don't even kill Boo Boo BB until like season 3.
Hmm?
Maybe they don't even kill the BB Boo Boo until
the
season 3.
Baba. Yeah. But yeah, I get that. But basically, that's that. And speaking of things being pushed, we also have another thing that's being pushed, which is Welcome to Derry.
Oh, what
the fuck? It's a weird image.
Ew.
That's not real.
Ew.
That's not real. Don't worry.
For people listening, it's a little baby wearing the It mask, the Pennywise thing.
Yeah.
Ew.
Kill it. But basically, Welcome to Derry, if you don't know, it's the It prequel. So not chapter 3. It's basically the prequel to, before the events of the Andy Muschietti movies, because it's the same universe. I think we confirmed that Andy Muschietti's doing the first episode or something like that.
Yeah, he's directing the first
but basically, it's been pushed. I've lost my article, so I'm just trying to find it. It was meant to arrive Halloween 2024. So that's when it was meant to arrive. Mm-hmm. But they announced, HBO Max has announced that it will be actually released sometime in 2025 instead. And that's from the HBO CEO. And basically,
CEO.
It has to do with the writer's strike, probably. It has to do with the actor's strike. Basically, Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti and Jason Fuchs are on board on the Pennywise prequel project from Warner Bros. He'll be directing the first one. The series will begin in the 1960s and the time leading up to the events of It Part 1.
I feel like it should be set in like the 1800s. That's my
opinion. Perhaps. Could go from the very beginning. Well, they do a prequel to the prequel.
Sometime.
Basically, it's going to include the origin of the story of Pennywise the Clown. Basically, the cast that will be involved is Taylor Page, who was in Zola. I'm going to screw all these names up, sorry.
Do it.
Jovan Edpio, who's in Watchmen.
This is why I get him to do the news.
Chris Chalk and Perry Mason, James Remar and Oppenheimer, Madeline Stowe, Revenge, and Stephen Ryder, who was part of Daredevil. Anyway, lots of stuff. I'm assuming that we're going to have... What's his name? Skarsgård back. Bill Skarsgård. Mm-hmm. He has to come back. He is the clown. But basically, that's really it. That's that. And final bit of news, probably the most important news, is that I got the Fortnite Michael Myers skin.
I accidentally
I got the I just want to let you guys know that I got the special Fortnite Michael Myers skin. I just thought you guys might want to know.
We haven't played with it yet, but
it's so good. Happy Halloween, guys. Fortnite Michael Myers skin. Look at that. I got the full pack. I got the knife. I got the pumpkin backpack. I got the Halloween tune. I had to get it. Your boy had to get it. So just letting you know that
I got the stream.
Let's do that.
Okay.
If you want a live stream, let us know in the comments. But I got the Michael Myers skin. There was also the Jack Skeleton skin that was available. I did not get it. Or the Alan Wake skin. I'm just letting you know I got the Michael Myers Fortnite skin. So, that's that. But now, time for the review. Time for the...
He's my favorite.
Time for the FNAF review. Yes. So, as we do the FNAF review, we're going to hop into our different angles, don't we?
Yeah.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh no, the lights. The lights. Oh! Hello. New angle. Hi. You all good, Louis?
I'm not even sure if I'm in focus or not. I think I am. Wow.
Yo.
Hello.
Guys, it's FNAF time.
It's FNAF time.
It's about time that we talk about FNAF, the movie. Now,
sorry.
it's okay. Before we get into it, there's a thing that we must do is we always just talk about our overall thoughts, guys. Our overall feelings about it before we get into the nitty-gritty spoilers and our deep thoughts. So this, if you just want to hear this, if you haven't seen the movie yet, just hear this and then hop off. But if you see the movie, of course, stay. But basically, Louis, let's start off with you. What is your overall thoughts?
I think, okay, because I feel like I can be more critical because I'm a fan.
Okay.
I feel like more people will be mad at you because you're not a fan.
Okay.
Or the opposite. I don't know.
Sure.
But I think this movie works well as a love letter to the people that know the lore and that know the stuff that's going on. I feel like there's a lot of like love and appreciation for that stuff. But as an actual film itself, I think it falls flat in a lot of fundamental aspects that create a good film. I think that as a game adaptation of the first of 1 and 3, I think mainly it doesn't really follow 2. I think it does well in exploring and adapting those aspects to film. But as an actual film itself, I think it struggles a lot with its adaptation and getting all the lore into especially the third act. I think it struggles with that.
Sure.
But I think overall I did have a lot of fun and I was able to separate myself from my critical brain and accept it as the film that I was presenting. I was able to go, you know what? I'm having fun. It's intriguing, some good stuff. I'm able to let it just flow over me. So I feel like overall I had a good time, but I'm able to be critical on a lot of the aspects of this film.
As a non-fan, listen, like I knew what I was gonna get. Like going to the movie, like I knew it was it's an M rating, or for if you're in America, it's a PG-13.
Yeah.
It's a movie that you can a bunch of teenagers and kind of young teenagers, some kids can go and see
and not be traumatized.
Yeah. So basically, I knew that I wasn't gonna get this really frightening horror movie, graphic, whatever film. But I went in and I was like, that didn't make me go like, well, having that in my head didn't necessarily alleviate all the criticisms I feel about it. I think the movie's, it's okay. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it at all.
Yeah. I think that kind of makes it worse when a movie's just okay.
It's fine. Like it felt like, listen, I'm not a FNAF fan, but I heard someone say this, who was a FNAF fan, that it's a movie that didn't feel like the first 3 games, but it felt like when it was really like the new ones, how it's like lore heavy and has that tone, rather than actually the scary of the original games. Because I know it's hard to translate.
This movie This movie tries to go for the lore. It doesn't try to go for like what makes the game spooky, what makes it like this. It's like we want to get the fundamentals of the
I think
lore
it's a fine time, and to be honest with you, I don't hate it as much as I'm sure other people who watched it with us. I thought it was okay, but it didn't do much for me. I'll still be there for the sequel because it's a cool enough idea, but that's not because of the movie. It's because the source material is cool enough.
I think this film does alleviate. I think this film does get rid of a lot of the lore that I feel like a sequel could be better.
Sure.
I feel like, because what's actually really cool is that on a lot of the videos that are critiquing this, the original creator, Scott Cawthon, is commenting on all those videos. Like he's watching criticisms of this film. And I'm like, okay, so hopefully the filmmakers are actually going to go back to it. It's going to get a sequel. This movie's made $150 fucking million in the first few weeks. Yeah. So hopefully the new one, the next one that comes out.
If Winnie the Pooh 2.
Winnie the Pooh,
Blood and Honey can have a sequel, then this is going to have a sequel.
I think this really does set up a really good sequel because now we've gotten all the explanations out of the way of like the fun. There's there's some convoluted stuff to come.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about it in our review. Yeah. But that is our overall thoughts. So like for me, I say to me it doesn't really work well as a horror movie, but it's an alright time. Listen, I had fun throughout. So it was okay.
Yeah.
It was an okay movie, but it wasn't. I don't know. It just didn't fully work for me as a horror fan, and I do have a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
But and then for you,
it wasn't. I would say it's not scary.
there's one segment that I thought was actually pretty effective, but we'll get to that. Sorry, we'll have to talk about that in our review. But that was our overall thoughts.
We are the worst kind of reviewers.
If you like FNAF, watch it. If you don't like FNAF,
have an open mind.
You don't need to watch it.
The marketing is misleading, I'd say. The marketing is quite
and
misleading.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that because that is part of my negatives. Anyway, that's that. So before we get to our negatives or how we feel indifferent about it, we're going to first talk about our positives because that's what we always do.
Yeah.
So this is where we are going to get spoilery. If you haven't seen the movie, do not continue watching this. If you don't care or give a shit about the movie, then of course, continue watching this. But do you want to start off with a positive, Louis, and then we can
I
get
said
into
this
it.
before. I think it truly is a love letter to the fans in the most basic sense. Quality doesn't actually equal, what it makes up, but I think it truly does. It doesn't like ignore lore or like a lot of like a lot of game adaptations, like the Sonic movie. It's like we know that the Sonic's up, blah blah blah. We're making our own thing. This one is like no. Even if it failed in a lot of aspects, this one truly was like I admire the effort of this film. But an actual positive is the directing. I think the actual cinematography and directing of this film is an overall positive for me. Yeah. And it went, to go with a very, trendy term, it went harder than it had to be. Yeah. Like there was a lot of stuff where I was like, this movie, you didn't have to try in this movie. You didn't have to try Tammi. You did not have to try. But there are a lot of scenes and a lot of camera cinematography elements and a lot of like angles and a lot of lens used and a lot of that kind of stuff that just really you're drinking that like an ad. There are a lot of aspects of this film that kind of goes like, you didn't have to go that hard, Emma. Like you could have fucking done this film like whatever FNAF film, get it out to the public. But it was like she was like, you know what? I'm gonna actually try with some of this.
No,
stuff.
That's a positive I had as well. Is that I felt like the cinematography was pretty good. It had this kind of like. Not grimy. What's the word for it? Yeah, it was kind of this darker kind of dreamy filter on it.
Kind of dreamy.
And it did feel like, I don't know, I was watching it and I was going like, this does feel like it would be like kind of in a like mid kind of 2010s.
Well, it was set in 2000,
And like it felt dark and kind of ethereal to it. I would agree, like dreamy. I do agree. I felt like it was a little bit.
If she was able to push it a bit more to an R rating, I think this movie could have had a lot of better elements of it. Yeah, but that's a discussion for another time.
But I do agree. I think the cinematography was good.
Yeah, and then also that goes into sound design.
Yeah,
like another positive.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
I wrote that in the same. I wrote that in the same thing.
No,
but, directing. I think the actual production, the sound design, and the directing. Let's just stick with those right now. Were really carried this film. Because I'll go into the negatives that didn't carry this film, but what did carry this film is the sound design and how that affected the scares and affected, even the Easter eggs of Foxy going dum 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 dum. Like that's kind of funny as a FNAF fan, but it's kind of spooky.
I was expecting Freddy. I haven't seen.
Horror.
I don't know if that's in the games.
He doesn't really do that.
But I was expecting to be more like
No, he doesn't. I don't know where that comes from. He doesn't really do that. He doesn't make noise.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't make that noise.
He goes he kind of laughs in the first game. But anyway. I really, and also how every animatronic had a different sound design. Like when Foxy moved, it had little slashing noise like and when it went to Chica, there was like some like little bird tweaks and little like all that kind of stuff. And when Freddy, it was a bit more like bassy. I noticed that, and I was like, you didn't have to go that hard. Like you didn't have to try that hard, but they did. And I think Bonnie had an extra sound as well, but I noticed it really was Foxy and Chica. That when it cut to them, it like had different flavors to it that it just didn't have to.
But and on that, I wrote down. It's not positive. I just wrote down score was all right.
Oh yeah, score was fun.
It was all right. Yeah. Like I don't know. The opening
was very cool.
I didn't love the
I like it.
opening.
Really?
It set me on a like. I don't know. Like I guess it didn't wow me because I guess it's predictable. Like the guy is gonna die. Like the opening
I meant
guy.
the opening, like the credits, opening credits.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Well, everything leading to it. The opening scene, the one that was meant to have Markiplier.
You were talking about
the security
yeah,
guard.
no,
that
yeah.
was the opening.
Oh,
I just thought it was.
right.
That'll be sorry. That'll go to the negatives, but
Yeah.
it's not really a negative, so I'm not going to talk about it in the negatives. But I'm just saying that scene was like, when it was coming out of it, it just like kind of quickly cut to the like opening credits.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Sure.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a very.
But I feel like even an
Whatever
R
scene.
movie could do that.
Sorry?
I think Saw would do that.
Yeah, but it wasn't very tension filled.
Yeah.
I don't think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's an alright scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, I'll go to one. I really liked because we were talking about this is like a tiny thing because we'll get to bigger ones. Because you were talking about how this is a love letter to the fans.
Yeah.
I, who's not the biggest like FNAF fan, even kind of like smiled a bit when they had a little balloon boy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Throughout.
Yeah.
I was like, even I who I don't remember if it was a balloon boy in those original games or if it was something
He's in
else.
FNAF 2.
He's in FNAF 2.
Yeah.
Even I was like, oh, that's a cool nod, even though I didn't really fully know the nod, but I could tell that was a nod.
It's
and I
like
kind
when
of
you
liked
watch something and you're like, I know that's special, but you don't know it. You're like, I know that's
it.
something.
Like I do vaguely know because I think I've seen that throughout. But like, even though I thought that was cool. But that's a tiny thing. I'm gonna go to a bigger one. I really liked the dream element. I really liked the whole thing about Josh Hutcherson's character Mike. Is it Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Mike Schmidt.
Using I think the beginning thing with the dream theory like book thing was a bit forced.
That was I think mainly an Easter egg for fans.
Okay, but it felt like I could tell this was a reference to something, but it didn't feel naturally put into it.
Yeah.
But the rest of the whole idea about him, using dreams to try to reconnect and him being stuck in his dreams and trying to figure out who took him was a cool element. Took the little brother. I thought that was a cool element, and I thought the ways those segments were filmed was cool as well.
Yeah.
Like I really liked how there was this little thing where when they had all the kids around.
Yeah.
Occasionally one of the kids would have no face.
Yeah.
And then another kid would have no face.
Yeah.
And then I thought that was a cool little side kind of creepy thing.
Yeah.
So I liked that whole kind of element to it. It was a big prominent part of the film. I wish it wasn't as big and prominent, but I don't mind it though because I think it was a cool kind of inclusion.
It just added an extra layer of like, it wasn't just like animatronic movie and added an extra layer of like stakes to this movie that it didn't have to. And I feel like that kind of added into spoilers. It kind of added into like exploring the ghost idea before it even came about. Like how like you could hear like in the speakers the fuzz of them speaking like through the restaurant. I feel like there's like that kind of stuff really elevates this movie to be different from like Willy's Wonderland or even the Banana Splits or like other types of movies that like this movie could have been just pretty default. I feel like that kind of stuff really adds to this film that makes it like that it could have been better. Yeah. And I had something on like the dream story as a welcome addition I think it is also a hint to the fans because there is a theory, the dream theory is a prominent theory in the FNAF space that the original 4 games were a dream and that was going to be the original reveal. But when Scott got to the point to reveal it, he thought that if he did reveal it, the fans would hate it. So he continued the story in a different canon. So like that's like a hint, like a little thing or like that's like a prominent thing and but like I thought it was just going to be a little hint. But then it actually became a story element. Was very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to a positive or should I go
I'll go into another positive. I fell into the weirdness and accepted the not great story elements, which made me enjoy it as a whole better. I just wrote this as I was able to just let this film kind of just like over my head, kind of just like let it breathe into me and not just go like critical to everything. Because I knew I was able to like Vanessa, even though like some of the dialogue was kind of stiff and some of the chemistry was a bit weird, I was able to like not just go like, well, fucking bad movie because of this fucking shit. I was able to go like, I'm going to judge it on what it's actually trying to be.
So the positive is that you were positive during the film.
I was trying to be very positive, and I feel like a lot of people came out of it not that way, because I think there's a general thing where like if you leave a movie and you have questions, that's a negative.
No,
but I feel
yeah.
like this movie, there's stuff that could have been answered better. But there's some stuff in movies where like I feel like people go like, not everything was explained. Fucking dumb, bad movie.
No, yeah, I get you.
And I'm like, I feel like this movie had that kind of stuff and also negatives towards the stuff that I'll talk about. But stuff where I'm like, you don't have to explain everything. And I'm happy that this film with Vanessa didn't have to explain everything. Why she was kind of weird. It does explain it a bit at the end, but like why she was acting this way and all this stuff.
I feel like the
I'm
negative was that they did explain it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the negative was
Yeah.
that she was like,
Yeah.
I am Vanessa.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Afton?
Afton.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't need that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's not law.
But I also just I didn't think they even mentioned there's a character called William Afton in the movie.
Nope, we'll get
so
to
when that reveal happened, I know who William Afton is because you guys have talked about it. But I'm sure if I wasn't a fan, I'll be like,
Well, I'll
get to that. It's one of my negatives as well.
But yeah, I felt there's a lot of weirdness in this. In like even when they're like building the fort, but there's a lot of weird stuff in this, and I was able to go like, you know what? Fine, I'll
I
take that.
really did not like that scene. But anyway,
I loved it.
I'll get to that.
I love that scene.
Okay, I'm gonna get to another one. My favorite part of the movie was that robbing gang segment.
Yeah.
So when they came in to go like, oh, you're gonna trash the place up and you know get him no longer
Get him
allowed to have
fired.
custody. 1 second. Oh my God, we're drinking sodas at the moment.
It's really hitting.
So there's gonna be a lot of burps throughout. But basically, that segment I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Like I thought that like for how much they were able to show, I think it was tense. I thought they showed all the cool things from each of the characters.
Yeah.
I thought when they had the bite of something,
Bite of 2000.
that was like, oh cool, they went dark, but they didn't have to like full on
Yeah.
like show you everything.
The blood.
I loved the little cupcake guy. He was the menace of the movie.
Yeah,
He
he's
was
great.
like when he was like on the face, it was like this and this,
Yeah.
and the person was looking up, and Chica was
Chica's
like that. That shit was spooky.
Yeah.
I love the segment the bit where he's like looking at the screen, and there's like Chica and was it Bonnie? And they like put down the like cupcake. I was like, that's fucking cool. That's reminding me of the game.
Yeah.
I like that element. I like when it brings me back to the game.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie did that enough.
Yeah.
Which kind of they did have segments where they had those angles, but I wish they did more of that. But I'll get to that to my negatives. But that segment, the whole segment with those animatronics,
boys,
that's what I came for the movie to see.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to see that shit. So when that happened,
Yeah.
that was a cool segment.
Yeah.
The rest I'll get to.
Yeah.
But that bit
Yeah.
was cool.
This movie
really
just,
genuinely
the
cool.
movie relied too much on lore to keep people interested when, to be honest, the reason why people like this stuff is because of the animatronics.
Yeah, and I'll get to that because that's a big thing I'll talk about, and we can talk about that in deep. And while we're talking about the animatronics, I thought they looked cool.
Yeah.
I thought the design was cool.
They look very good.
They look like animatronics.
Yeah. They looked very good. I feel like...
They weren't scary.
No, they weren't very scary.
But they looked like the animatronics.
Yeah. They weren't
That
scary.
was good.
I don't think they were... I don't think...
And that's because they could have made them scary if they lit them well and like I don't think their design necessarily isn't the scary part because they look like how they look like in the games.
Yeah.
It's down to the direction they went with them as characters, but the design of them was well done.
Yeah.
And it was cool that they were practical. I don't think you could do that in CGI, but
No, yeah.
that was cool. Yeah. Thought that was cool. I don't think I have too many other positives. Do you have any more positives?
I do. I'll go through. I think Mike added a good grounded element to this story. I think even if there's stuff I don't love about Mike's character, I feel like I see a lot of negatives of like, why isn't Mike more confused at the killer animatronics? Why isn't Mike having a bigger reaction?
That is
I personally think that Mike, the character that we've been shown, that is a perfect reaction of him going like, oh, he sees it, and he's concerned. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? And he gets home, and he sees Abby in the back, and he's like, he bottles it. He's like, okay.
Sure.
And he just goes like, he believes in dream theory. I think he's a bit kind of weird, and I feel like, the reactions he's had to other stuff, it goes into like, yeah, that's how he'd react. And of course, there are characters that go like, what the fuck? Like the gang robbers, like they react like that. But Mike, I feel like that is a perfect reaction to the character that's been set up. Is it not what everyone wanted? People wanted probably a character to be like more like, whoa, isn't this crazy? I didn't obviously not to that extent, but like I feel like I didn't need that because
Sure.
that's extra convolutedness that I just like I don't fucking need that.
Yeah.
So I feel like Mike added a good like groundedness of this story that didn't need those elements.
Yeah. Sure. I think the last positive I have is that most of the performances are good.
Yeah, I think especially Josh Hutcherson.
I think, he had a very kind of mellow performance, but
Yeah.
that's his character. The one character trait I know about him is he's sleepy. He's a sleepy
big
boy.
sleepy boy.
He's a big EP boy.
He's a big EP
So
boy.
I guess he gave off
Yeah.
that EP vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the little kid was great. The
Abby. Yeah.
Matthew Lillard was fun.
Mm-hmm. Matthew Lillard was very fun.
He wasn't. I'll get to it in my negatives.
Yeah.
He wasn't scary.
No.
But he was fun, and I enjoyed
Yeah.
him. And I enjoyed little bits where he wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
Springtrap at the end. Just that scene, when
Yeah.
he was like talking to him. So
I
it was
think-
entertaining.
I think the movie peaks in that scene of in the boardroom scene when they're just together, the two counseling moments. Even though that's the beginning of the film, I think the movie should have kept that tone throughout. That mellow tone, how he reacts to the last name. I feel like
Yeah.
that the movie, like those two actors were the best actors that they had. So I feel like they should have kept that element, but they just kind of didn't, and it's confusing.
Sure. I don't have too many. I have no more positives to
Yeah.
say. But if you want to say,
I'll
anything before we
peep
move
you
on
through
to the
them all.
negatives.
First two acts I really fell for, and I'll continue in the negatives. FNAF has always been silly and kind of weird, so for someone who knows the games and vibe, the characters feel in tune with the games and the universe. I think Vanessa fits the game universe, because she's kind of fucking weird. For a movie and moviegoers who don't know the universe, it's fucking weird. She's a fucking weirdo. But for me, who knows the universe and all the fucking weird characters, I'm like, she seems pretty normal. The scary elements, when they are there, are just enough scary to keep me invested in the story. Seeing Foxy doing his fun little run, the da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, and all that was fun. Cupcake was fun. Freddy chomping, nom-nom-nom, was nice. And I wish there was more of those elements for people who didn't know the lore. I think they needed more of those elements. As a fan, I know they're building a cubby. I know they are building a cubby because they are kids. They defend the restaurant because it's their home, and they've been influenced by William, and they will be eventually William's demise. I know all that stuff. I know like William Afton's influence over them, and that they'll be his eventual demise. I understand that I understand the reason why, like, they're building their fort because the kids' souls and, like, they aren't actual animals. And, like, I know that stuff. But for someone who doesn't know, and this will bring us into our negatives, someone who doesn't know that stuff will see that as just, what the fuck is going on? This isn't the movie that was promised. And that isn't always a bad thing. That can also make a film better. But when the marketing is like, this is how this is, blah, 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 and the movie doesn't actually properly give enough gateway into, holy shit, this is what the movie's going for, because we see them be kill animatronics before we even see them be nice boys. So I feel like the movie handles the letting the new people in the audience feel into this world. It doesn't handle that correctly, because what the movie should be doing is getting a whole new fan base. It should be getting people into the universe, except for gatekeeping, going like, well, because you don't know the lore, you can't understand, which is not always the case, because there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I feel like you don't have to know the lore to understand what's going on. But I feel like just the defense of, well, it's more of a film towards the fans. It's fine for me, but as a reviewer who has to review this movie unbiasedly, it does add an element of like, well, I have to be unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we get into our negatives of this film.
Yeah.
Fucking screenplay. I just wrote screenplay. This movie had a fucked screenplay. I'm sorry, but this movie just struggles so hard in its screenplay. Some of the
Blumhouse, what the fuck? Guys,
Blumhouse,
get better
what
writers.
the frickety frick? No, I feel
Get better writers.
I feel like it's just too much dredged down in the lore. I think there is lore that you can have in this film, and you can keep all the lore you have in this film. You just have to change the way it's delivered to the audience.
Yeah, and I do have a thing on that with my negatives, where I felt like a lot of what happened. Should I just say it now? Maybe
Just fucking go for it.
I
boy.
feel like a lot of what the movie, like, I feel like the ending of the movie could have been good for the ending of the second movie.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that, like, I saw that this is like, to me, it felt like this was a movie that, like, if you're doing a trilogy, like, I'm thinking that Blumhouse would do a trilogy.
But that's what
This movie felt like it was a mix between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, not the games, just this is like the story elements of what could happen in 1 and 2.
As a movie.
Like, the first movie could be solely the animatronics. You know little bits about Springtrap.
Yeah.
You have Matthew Lillard, but it's mainly the animatronics. They are the villains. But then at the very end, you reveal that Springtrap is the real villain. You see that these guys are actually just ghost kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, holy shit. Yeah. And then the second movie is us like humanizing the animatronics, them kind of becoming heroes.
Yeah.
And then
Springtrap's
Springtrap being this bigger
demise.
thing.
Yeah.
And then Springtrap having his demise at the second film. And then him being undead or whatever they're going to do in the third one as the big ending with now the animatronics and the guys trying to defeat the undead Springtrap, whatever.
Yeah.
That felt like that could have been that third movie. But this felt like, that it's just condensed like two movies worth of what could have been done.
Yeah.
Because it's so opposing in its tone, which is a negative I'm going to go to. Or maybe I should just, I won't go to it yet. Yeah. But like, I felt like it was too much. It could have been.
And the defense of that is like, well, there's so much game lore that like the more films we go to, there's like so much other game stuff. We're not talking about the future game stuff because we might not actually get those films. Because the worse these films are received, the less chance that we get those movies. So what you do is when you make a movie is that you try to make it the best movie you can and not go, there is promise for better movies in the future. You go, no, this is the movie and the stories we are going for in this universe. So that's what we cut out to do. And then if there are stories that can be continued after those movies, then you go for a sister location or even bring those into the third movie and then those are a spin-off. You don't go like, oh yeah, and the second movie is fucking sister location. It's like, it's just jumping around too much if that's what they're going for, I think.
Yeah. So we're well and truly in our negative discussion right now. Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like because we're on that conversation, a negative I had was that there was so much missed potential to make this like a good horror movie, but instead we just got a dump of 1 to 3, and to me it doesn't fully work. Yeah. Like I felt like because we're on the conversation, I really went in. Like my dream FNAF movie, I knew it wasn't going to be delivered. Yeah. But my dream FNAF movie is that you really take that concept of that first game. Yeah. You make an isolated kind of like one location kind of thriller where it literally is just that first game with you know, maybe like little references to things. Yeah. You can still have that balloon boy part. You can still have this rider thing about, you know, Matthew Lillard's character. He still could be there. But it's a film that's really like very tense. It's isolated. It's kind of got the feeling of like a home invasion. Yeah. And it's just focused on that. And there can still be like an element of maybe having people who come in and they get killed or whatever. Yeah. But it's still, that's kind of the main concept. Yeah. And have that kind of grimy, dark aesthetic. Yeah. I get it. There's a huge young kid fan base to this that maybe wouldn't relate well to, but you still don't need to have loads of gore. It's just scary and isolated. And to me, when we just got a big dump of all this lore, I get it. This is a fan movie, and it just isn't what I hoped for. And there was an issue with the marketing where they made it seem like the animatronics are the villains. Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted. Like I wanted this to be they are the villains. I didn't want to go into like, no, but they're secretly cool people. Not cool people, but secretly, you know, young kid heroes, which will go to a bigger negative that I'll get to. Yeah. But yeah, it just, I didn't think the dumping of 1 to 3 worked well to me because I wanted to go into this going, this really has great potential to be a cool horror movie. Yeah. It just wasn't a horror movie. It just was something else. Yeah. And I was just like, I didn't like that and it didn't work for me.
The lore that they do dump doesn't have to be the way they dumped it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, though you couldn't. Okay, if this is the lore that they want to have in this movie, fine. If they don't want to do the good version of this movie that we've been pitching, I'm kidding. But if they don't want to do that version, they can do this version. They just didn't do it in a way that is adequate for a movie adaptation.
Yeah.
They made okay, I wrote this down. They think this movie thinks it's more mystery than it is.
Yeah.
This movie thinks it's more like, oh my God, than it actually is. Because it okay, let's see if I can see. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Come on, where are you?
I mean, I have something to say onto that, but I'll
Yeah.
let you speak first.
Should have had the animatronics established early in the film, so it doesn't immediately feel like a shock of them suddenly killing and then suddenly nice and cuddly. That could have been handled better, where it kind of doesn't choose what the animatronics are. They go back and forth and being robots and ghost kids and then killers, and then it goes a bit too complicated when in the games it's said to be when they are alone and not at night they get quirky. So what I mean by that, I read through that a bit fast because we don't want to go for too long, but this movie just kind of flip-flops on what these guys are.
The tone is very inconsistent. Like I agree with that. I felt like, of course, like a lot of people will go like, they killed a bunch of people in this. To be fair, they deserved it, most of them. I know the babysitter was like a nicer character, but that's why it's more effective that, you know,
we don't
she
know
got
the
bitten.
lives of the guy gets killed by a cupcake. He could just be a kid who needed the money. We
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not mad. I'm just like, that's cool. It makes him menacing. But then I really just did not like that scene when they're building the fort. And I get it. A lot of people make the argument, well, they're kids. They're going to make a fort.
Yeah.
And listen, that's cool and all. But, like, not in this movie. Like, do that in the next one or something. I just felt like it totally shifts so, like, I don't like the shift. And I wanted these... I know I'm not a fan, so I don't really know about these characters, but I wanted these characters to be menacing.
Yeah.
I wanted to... Because that game, when I played it when I was young, was fucking scary.
Yeah.
That was a terrifying game.
And there's no gore in that movie, or in that game.
And we were scared shitless as a kid about Freddy
We
Fazbear.
played VR recently, and that game is
I
scary.
was scared shitless.
Yeah.
So I wanted these characters to be treated the same way,
Yeah.
not as just they're fun little kids or whatever. And I really didn't like that. So I agree. I think the tone is just very fucking inconsistent.
Yeah.
And on that, when we're talking about the lore, I wrote this down. Like, I like the intent of having lore, because I know we had like a little conversation about this. Like, it's cool that the film is like, we're going to do something with the lore instead of just being a basic thing. But I feel like, to me, it wasn't presented in a cool cinematic way.
Yeah.
It kind of was a lot of tell no showing.
Yeah.
So like, and I felt like it came off a bit dull. Like there
Yeah.
was all these scenes where just Vanessa's just sitting with Mike and going, here's all the things that happen. Here's all the things that happen. Here's all the things that happen. Here's relating to your dream. And I'm like, that's okay, but you're just info dumping.
Yeah.
And that didn't really work well with me. And I just wanted these characters to like, maybe there's shots kind of telling something. Maybe there's posters up on or something that's more visual or something cool, rather than just here's a bunch of exposition.
Yeah.
And to me, it just came off really dull.
Which is crazy because in the games, that's how the lore is told, through visuals and through interpretation.
Right.
That's more game. And like, it's like, oh, we're in a movie, we can just now tell all the lore. It's like, no, stop it. That's not how you be compelling. That's not how you be interesting.
Yeah. And that also just connects to the tone where it felt like I don't know. I didn't want this. It felt like too much is being put into one film without it actually being effective or taking its time to be scary or taking its time to do whatever. It just went bam, 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 bam. We're gonna just put it all together, and it just didn't work.
I do like the cubby house scene only because like I was able to just accept that like, oh, I get what they're going for. You know, like I get what they're going for. Wow, you're ripping that. I get what they're going for with that scene. You know, they're kids and they're being bongos.
Yeah.
But then have this random thing where like Abby strums the guitar and Vanessa's like, oh! You know, like, and then it gets all creepy. And then like it's like okay, and then suddenly the animatronics are like, we want to fucking kill your sister. Like, whoa. I thought they were just bad to bad people. Nope, they're bad to good people as well. And the motivations are all just fucking all over the place. And yeah, as a fan, I know this stuff, But I'm trying to see it as a person who doesn't know this stuff, and I can tell that it's like, that's not how you tell stories. Like, if I tell you a recap of a game, I don't just ignore the stuff in the game that's implied because, like, I know it. I have to tell you, as a person that's new to it all, every single thing.
Yeah.
I don't just go like, and then if you and I go, okay, you tell it to me back, and then you tell it to me back. I'm like, no, you missed all this implied
And
stuff.
also, like, what if someone just doesn't like the fucking lore? Like,
Yeah.
you're telling me the lore, great that you have lore.
Yeah.
But show me why the lore is cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't just tell me the lore that happens, because I'm sure some people, when we went to watch it, who don't know FNAF are like, okay, cool that this is the lore. It's not like, but it's, I don't like the fucking lore. Or like, the lore, it just isn't interesting. It's the games that made the lore cool, that convinced you.
Yeah.
But if you're just telling me lore that I don't fucking like, then that's not making it good.
We had friends there who didn't even connect Matthew Lillard as the killer.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, who's this guy? Just William Afton? Okay. And I was like, that kind of goes towards like, because obviously like they don't know Matthew Lillard as well as an actor. They haven't seen Scream, they haven't seen Scooby-Doo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like we also like, and I could like tell it just wasn't him without his glasses. I know who Matthew Lillard is. But in the movie timeline, and they probably aren't even paying attention to that guy because I'm not even sure if they saw the trailers really. Of like they knew that guy was just in the beginning. He was a bit weird, and then he's just not in it anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they ever really mentioned that he's William Afton before he comes as Springtrap.
It's just like, here's a photo. My dad is William Afton. Okay, and then suddenly takes off the mask.
Oh wait, yeah.
But they don't say it's Matthew Lillard. He's just the only other male. I mean, not male, but other male character that's in the movie.
Yeah.
So who the fuck else would it be? But if someone who's even thinking about that, who's just like sees him as just like a brand new character, of just like, yeah, William Afton, just a new guy, because we're told that the other guy's called Steve Raglan. So it takes a lot of mental gymnastics to get to that point as a person who like isn't as involved in film as we are. Obviously, because we're involved in film, we can do that mental gymnastics. But for someone who isn't, it can be a bit telling.
Yeah, and while we're on the conversation of that character, I wasn't like, he's the big bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he's the big bad or whatever. I think he's the big bad.
The big bad.
He wasn't scary or compelling to me. Like, sorry, Soda or Bumner. Basically, he kind of just came off as like really goofy.
Yeah.
And not like I get it, because the game, I'm sure maybe the games and the stories are a bit goofy, and that's part of why it's endearing.
He's a bit of a fuckhead.
But he didn't come off as like scary. And when he was in his full outfit, I was like, oh, okay.
He's a bit creepy.
Yeah, a little bit. But I basically wrote down that he just wasn't scary. However, I do like Matthew Lillard. Yeah. And I was like enjoying that character just because it was Matthew Lillard. If he was played by anyone else, I wouldn't give a fuck. And I think this is such a goofy character that he isn't a big bad. Like, he didn't feel like a big scary bad. I know it's implied that he killed a bunch of people, but there isn't anything in the film. I get the count show the dead children.
Also,
but like,
why the fuck was he in Nebraska?
Was it in Nebraska, or was it just? I thought it was just
the FNAF location isn't in Nebraska. Why was he going to Nebraska? I thought it was literally just like he wanted a poster full of trees in order to sleep and connect to it. That it was actually Nebraska. So it was actually in Nebraska. I thought it was just he needed some trees to look at, and that's what took him there. I think he was in Nebraska.
I swear they had a conversation with like, Nebraska's like, no, just a picture full of trees. So I can
no, I think it was like, no, he's like, do you want to go to Nebraska? He's like, no, I just use it as a, or maybe it is, I don't know, I might be wrong. If it is Nebraska, if he did get to Nebraska, I know why he probably would have followed Mike all the way there. But it's kind of just like a weird connection of them being like, I killed your brother, now I want to kill you because symmetry, my friend. Okay, like,
I just felt like he could have been such a bigger bad and built up more over like the sequels.
The only thing that we get is that the kid's going, a yellow rabbit. Sick, bruv. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I just felt like this movie was just so much happening at once, and they really could have just like led this into the second film. Like, his reveal could be in the second film, and then he's a big bad in the third one. Like, I feel like this is just, I still like my dream trilogy was just keep it simple for the first, have bigger, the bigger like alluding to bigger things. Second one, the bigger things are rolling. We have the Matthew Lillard arriving, and the third one, the big battle, whatever. But like, His character just came out goofy, and like when he was like, I always come back.
It doesn't fucking make sense.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. I know what that means.
What does that mean?
I know what that means.
You
They
always
don't
come
fucking know what
back.
it means.
Like,
and I
but-
saw someone try to explain it away, like, because he knows that if he wears the helmet and wears the suit, if he dies, he'll come back in the suit because that's how the kids came back.
Yeah.
So he was like, I always come back. That's that's him going, I come back in the suit. I'm like, sure, wouldn't you say then, don't worry, I will come back, not I always come back. That doesn't make sense. Sorry, Dorko. Also, there's another thing. Knowing the law makes it easier to understand, but if you don't, things don't feel complete. And the excuse of needing to know the law doesn't always work when it's a fundamental flaw in the movie story, pacing, Golden Freddy, William Afton, and Springtrap. Golden Freddy. He's just there.
The Golden Freddy? I forgot about that.
Yeah, the guy in the taxi, the one with the blue eye, and then disappears. Just takes Abby to the thing.
Oh, I thought it was just Freddy.
No, he goes, not Freddy.
Oh,
That's Golden Freddy.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize that.
It's such a little thing that like Golden Freddy is so significant to the lore that I go oh at it, but anyone else goes like fucking sick, bruv. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just try to wrap up my negatives.
Yeah. The spring lock should have been told before. The spring locks were.
I thought that was a cool scene when he was digging into him.
Yeah.
But for Springtrap, when the things were like clanging into him,
Yeah.
thought that was cool. But it just these are great moments that could be significant moments and bigger moments in the film. But you put all these little moments together that they just feel like, okay, we're going through the motions.
It just makes it feel dull. This
Yeah.
movie feels so dull.
It also felt slow in parts, but also didn't. Like I wrote down, it can feel slow in parts. I think that's just when they're talking about the lore.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it feels like it was an alright paced movie. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the lore works is one of them. I don't mind it. I wish they didn't just breeze over the animatronics. Yeah, I think we've kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
I think that's really it for me.
Okay.
I just wish the animatronics were more actual villains rather than like anti-heroes, or just heroes.
Fucking Taylor Swift.
I just feel like damn it, Midnights.
Okay.
But
want me to read through my last one?
Yeah, speed through.
Okay, this is my continue over the.
It follows.
Yeah. So when I said I liked the first two acts, but then I said it fumbles the ball, filling all the needed lore, and with the film has such little stakes until after the second half of the film, it feels so isolated from any actual good scares and compelling stakes. It shoves a bunch in the last 20 minutes, and it feels overstuffed and feels clumsy. Like the small simpler story suddenly adds this whole other element of Spring Bonnie and William Afton, crowds the ending and becoming more funny and silly than scary. Even much hyped Springlock scene feels silly and not scary. That scene was the thing I was looking forward to the most. It fucking sucked. Sorry. In the end, I think the film suffers from a lot of screenplay problems and limits the film being its best it could have been. Because a lot of elements work here and make it more interesting than a haunted restaurant with animatronics film. It could be so much better, but with how it's handled, a lot of those elements comes together in a messy way, leaving a lot to be desired in the actual film itself. Not the games, this film.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Leo, scores. Tell them.
Now. All right, scores. Yes, let's do the scores. Quickly, description of what we always do, we just describe what they are. At the very bottom, we have a thermometer, basically, of like levels of scores. At the very bottom, we go shit show, movie's horrible, no good qualities, it's just shit. It's so bad, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just, don't watch it, it's awful, what the heck are they doing? Then above that is, we have bore, snore, get out the door. It's a movie that's like, maybe some cool elements, some good things, but most of it is just, it's very boring. It's very middling. It's just like, okay, sure, whatever. All right. It's just not really that good. It's just not good at all, but there may be some good elements. It's just overall pretty boring, pretty whatever. And then above that is we have Book Appointment for Disappointment. This is a movie that has a lot of great elements, kind of works in some bits, but overall it's just a major disappointment. It maybe isn't just a good film at all. Sometimes this could just be a film that like maybe we had high hopes for, even though like quality wise it probably is like a Boston will get out the door, but because we were like looking forward to it more and we actually just do feel disappointed, it might be given just a book appointment for disappointment. But yeah, basically good elements, but the negatives outdo it. It's not that great. And then above that is Hey, It's Fun. It's a movie that's flawed. It has its flawed elements, but the majority of it is just a fun time. It's a good time. And we enjoyed ourselves. The quality of it may not be fantastic, but, you know, it's whatever. But it's just fun. Still go check it out. Then above that is Fantastically Splendid. Fantastically Splendid. Good film. Good horror film. Check it out. It's really good. May have a few flaws, but the majority of it is just really good. Check it out. Fantastic. Then above that is
Masterpiece classic.
Masterpiece/classic. This is a film that's like, it's great. It's near perfect. It's going to be a modern classic or already is a classic. You got to check it out. It's fantastic. 5 stars. Where am I going to go with this?
I know mine. Mine's a Book of Point for Disappointment high.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me.
Yeah. Almost Hey, It's Fun. I think I came out of it with Hey, It's Fun, but then the more I watched and the more like I thought on it, I was like, because we're a horror review channel,
Yeah.
this is Book of Point for Disappointment.
Listen, Book of
And
Point
it's
for
coming from a fan who loves this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I was cheating on the Hey, It's Fun, Book of Point for Disappointment. I just feel like it could have been so much cooler. It could have been so much scarier.
Yeah.
I would have done it much differently, but to be fair, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I've played the first game. I've played a bit of the third game. But I just feel like a lot of this could work on paper. It just doesn't work to be all in this one movie. I feel like it should have been spread out a little bit more. And I feel like really focus on that horror aspect. Give us what, you know, the fans would want and the general public would want, which is these animatronics being spooky as fuck, being croaky at night.
Yeah.
Give us that. But instead you put in all this lore that I'm sure is fun for the fans. But basically, I just don't think it really works as a horror movie, because I do think it is a horror. It was trying to be... Five Nights at Freddy's, to me, was scary as fuck as a kid. It just isn't scary in this movie. It's more about the lore, not about the thrills or scares.
Yeah.
It's all about, hey, check it out. We're going to try to make this lore cohesive and a good bundle without it actually making it a great movie.
Yeah. This movie feels dull and like not like full of life. You know, this movie feels like kind of like mundane, which sucks because there's a lot of cool stuff in this movie, but it just sometimes it feels like it's just a waste of potential.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's why it's disappointing, because it's not like a boring movie. It has its fun moments. It has its like good parts that I enjoyed. Positive I didn't say was I really liked them using the talking in your sleep song. Thought that was cool.
And it's a lot of
that's
like,
nothing to do with the overall picture. But
stuff,
I just want to say I like that. I don't think that was. I
there's
think
a lot
I forgot
of great.
to mention
There's
that.
a lot of great stuff, like little stuff, and like a lot of love letter to the fan and all that stuff. So if you're a fan and you're just thinking about that, this movie's great.
Oh, there's a bunch I didn't say that was positive. A good comedy in parts.
Oh yeah, very funny.
And the talking in your sleep song was good. The guy who had the briefcase, he was great.
Oh yeah, the briefcase.
I do think that the tone is very weird. But anyway, but basically, sorry, just want to get those out there because I realized I forgot to say it. Yeah. But yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it's not a great horror movie. It's a fun time. And listen, I'll be there for the sequel.
Yeah.
It hasn't put me off FNAF. No. It hasn't left a bad taste in my mouth. It's just, it could have been cooler and scarier. Yeah. And instead it felt like a showcase of here's the lore rather than an actual coherent, nice. Yeah. I don't think the structure's bad.
The pizza was a bit undercooked.
Yeah. And I wanted some more of that gooey cheese.
Yeah, it needed a bit more time in the oven. I know they just wanted to get this movie out because it's been 8 years, but a bit more time in the oven for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thought the movie was fine.
Big point for disappointment.
But if you're a FNAF, as a film. If you're a fan of FNAF, I still say go and see it. Yeah. If you got a bunch of young kids, it's a good. I mean, listen, it's a good. I heard someone say it's a good entry level horror movie. Yeah, sure.
I would say
it's fine.
This movie is lacking in scares, stakes, and all that stuff. But if you're just beginning,
it's not my FNAF. # not my
FNAF.
But it's.
Sorry for sorry for my friends who liked this movie, because I know a few of you did, but like I'm reviewing it as a film.
And sorry for my friends who wanted me to thrash this movie and say it's shit. It was
We're the worst kind of reviewers, the people that are in the middle. You know,
it's like it was alright.
Yeah, it was okay.
It wasn't the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I've seen much worse.
The worst movie I've seen this year is the new Bloodlines fucking Pet Cemetery Bloodlines movie. That movie, if you want to see a movie that sucks, watch that one. That movie actually fucking sucks.
Yeah, we're not going to review that.
I'm not going to review it.
Also, we didn't review The Exorcist. We might do a Tiny Thin, the new Exorcist movie. We still haven't seen it yet.
We did not want to see it. Well, we wanted to see it, but
I want to see it just for the sake of us seeing Scott Teams' timeline and his fall.
Yeah.
Because hopefully this could be
see
his
that
last
man
one.
crumble.
So anyway, love you, Scott Teams. I don't mean
Well,
that
yeah,
anyway.
this is just a joke.
But we might do a little quick video on that, just
Yeah.
letting you know.
Yeah.
Just wrapping up now. That was our review.
And I might do a live stream with people who actually liked this movie. I might be doing that. We'll see if they're available.
If you're a FNAF fan, there's got to be statistically a few of you out there.
And watch my FNAF video.
Yeah.
That I edited. That wasn't me. That was someone else.
That was someone else.
was someone else.
But yeah, basically. And then before we wrap up, there's a trivia thing that we always do. Now, my camera right here may die in the middle of this. That's fine. It continues. We're going to roll it on. We're going to keep on going.
Keep rolling.
I'm going to go next to Louis and sit next to him if it dies.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If it goes and the FNAF.
Okay.
Anyway, so here's your trivia question, guys.
Okay.
Your FNAF trivia question for the week. Kicking us off in this new setting with some cool trivia.
Okay.
Let's go.
The thing is, okay, there is a bit of speculation because the lore in this series is not fully confirmed because Scott Cawthon hates giving answers. But the question I want to give is, which animatronic gave the bite of 87? Is it A, Toy Bonnie, B, Toy Freddy, C, Toy Chica, or D, Mangle?
Who the fuck is Mangle?
It's toy Foxy, but like it's a whole lore thing that like Toy Foxy got like mangled by like some like kids like fucking with me.
Hey guys, so something weird just happened.
Yeah, that was
where my camera died and then suddenly the recording stopped.
And then started playing our voices.
Yeah,
That was
bit spooky.
That was a bit spooky.
So
Anyway,
hi there.
yeah.
So
So-
if you're wearing this headphones, it's like all in one ear, maybe. I don't know.
no, that's not how I edit it.
We don't. Okay, yeah. It was just I don't know. Basically, so I'm in between two. I'm in between Freddy Fazbear. Wait, what bite is this?
87.
87.
This isn't 83
So that was Freddy Fazbear.
because 83 we saw 83. That's the when Markiplier says that the bite of 87, that was actually the bite of 83.
Oh, okay, because that was in my mind. In my
No.
mind, I was like,
No, that's
in
the
my
bite of
mind.
83.
Okay, that's Freddy then.
Yeah, that's Freddy.
Freddy's bite of 83. So I'm gonna say Mangle. I'm gonna say Mangle because you started talking about all these little kids that like messing with it,
Well, you did ask who.
and I
Mangle was.
do think the bite has to happen after that. Or the
Look at that little chomper that Foxy has.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show you what Mangle looks like?
Sure. Will this spoil if it is Mangle?
No.
What a dick.
No, that's what Mangle looks like.
Oh. See that one? That's scary.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to look like, but that's been.
That's scary. What the fuck was that though? Go back.
That's Nightmare. That's Nightmare.
No, go back. What the fuck is this shit? what is this shit? What is this anime fucking? No, I'm gonna say Mangle.
You're gonna say Mangle?
Although I think Bonnie was meant to be kind of a spooky character. I know people were talking about how spooky Bonnie is, but I'm gonna go with Mangle.
Okay.
Just because kids fucking mangling with it.
Yeah, that's Mangle in the.
Okay, yeah. Cool to see that. But basically, what the fuck is this shit? What is that?
That's why FNAF is doing so well.
I don't see any bites of anything in this, so I'm gonna say low-key Bonnie, but I'm gonna go with the answer as Mangle. That's that though. You put it in the comments for the next episode. Louis, come here.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in for the next episode, guys.
Next episode, which will be whatever we want.
We don't know what it's gonna be yet.
We don't know.
There's not much horror movies to look forward to at the end of the year.
This is a FNAF.
Is this
reference.
FNAF?
This is a FNAF reference.
There you go.
There you go.
Is there any horror movies to look forward to? I don't think there is.
There's a Toy Bunny.
It's Toy Bonnie. That seems like it could be Toy Bonnie. I'm gonna go with Toy Bonnie then.
Toy Bunny?
Bonnie. I'm gonna go with Bonnie. Bonnie Lass.
Bonnie Lass. Hey, fuck off, bitch.
Wait. Come here. So, just so it's back to this. Basically, is there any horror movies to look forward to at the end of this year? Anyway, basically, we're gonna do another episode probably. We have to. It's November. Yeah, we'll do another episode. Sorry it's taking a long time between breaks of episodes. We'll get back onto it. We might do a little Exorcist watch. Be a very short video because I don't want to spend too long talking about it if I know it's bad. But yes. Anyway, that has been this. We'll make sure there's another one to celebrate the end of the year. Sorry we didn't do a Halloween video or anything to celebrate the spooky season.
That's Leo's fault. He's the Halloween boy.
That's entirely my fault. But hope you had a good Halloween. Hope your October 31st was eventful
Yeah.
and fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's us, really. We're done. Happy FNAF.
Happy FNAF.
And do 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 do.
Dum 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 dum.
Dum 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 dum. Dum dum
Dum dum.
dum dum. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Answer the questions.
Bye.
C'est la vie.
Social media and stuff.
Do do do.
Dum dum dum.
Do do do.
I guess it's pizza time.